Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be going over how to polish headlights on my new project car, the W210 E270CDI. So if your car has yellowed out or damaged headlights that are faded from the sun and just being outside for many years like this car has, you should be able to go from this to this. And as you can see, it's much clearer. You can actually see inside of the headlight where the light bulb is, and it just looks much cleaner, much newer, makes the car look a bit better all over. All you're going to need for doing this is some wet sanding paper. I'm using 600 and then 1200 grit, a little spray bottle of water, and 2 microfiber towels, as well as I'll be using some plastics polishing compound. You can use normal polishing compound for cars. I have done it before. However, I must say this compound works a lot better on headlights. It yields results much better. It just makes polishing them so much easier than normal polishing compound. So step one is going to be to take your lower grit sandpaper. In this case, I said this is 600 grit. You're going to start wet sanding your headlights, going in small circular motions, going all around the headlight. And as you sand, you will actually see the yellowness start to drip off. It's actually very satisfying to watch. However, try and keep the headlight and the sandpaper lubricated at all times. It just prevents dust buildup and makes the sanding a lot more effective, as well as keeping things clean. Okay, so we're just gonna spray down the paper, spray down the headlights, and then just start going small circular motions and not too much pressure. Don't want to burn through the headlights. I don't know how well it's coming across on camera, but you can see all of the yellowness coming off the headlight now. Very satisfying to watch. Already I can see a big difference in just the color. It's much more see-through. Right, once you have sanded down the headlight and you're happy with what it looks like, you've gotten all of the yellow plastic off of here, you can then switch over to your 1200 grit, and it's the same process, just small circular motions going around. This is just to get out all of the small scratches you've created with your heavier sandpaper. Okay, so you join me a few minutes later. I've now sanded down both of these with 600 and then following it up with 1200. So the next step is taking one of your two cloths and cleaning up all of the water residue and dust from around the headlights where you have just sanded. And this is because you don't want water to mix with the polishing compound that we're going to use next. Alright, now that most of the water's been wiped off, just want to give it a couple of minutes just to completely dry, and then we'll start the polishing stage. Okay, as you can see, the headlights are now looking quite cloudy, which means all of the water has dried off of them. So you want to take your polishing compound, shake it up, just get everything mixed up nice and properly. Then take your second cloth and get some polishing compound on there, and then once again small circular motions. This time you want to apply as much pressure as you're comfortable with. You can't really overdo this if you're doing it by hand using a cloth. If you're using a buffing wheel on a drill, or if you have a polishing machine, which is great. It'll speed it up a lot, but don't put too much pressure. You may very well burn through the headlight. But yeah, doing it by hand is the safest and cheapest way. So just small circular motions, and yeah, just keep that at. Okay, so as you can see, the large headlight has now been polished. That took me about 10 minutes. I wasn't really timing myself, and yeah, time kind of flies by when you start doing something like this. So yeah, you just want to go polish it over and then wipe it down. Depending on which buffing compound you're using or polishing compound, the Maguire's plastics I'm using says to wipe off the polish before it dries. Most polishing compounds you need to let it dry before you can buff it off. This is a bit different. So yeah, just check whatever compound you're using's instructions and follow that for the best results. So yeah, now onto the smaller high beam headlights. Okay, there we go, all done now. Yeah, I'll give you some better angles of the after. So as you can see, that is much clearer, no more yellowing. However, as you can see, there is some cracking on my headlights here. They've just seen too much sun. That is not going to come out no matter how much I polish it, unfortunately. However, that's only if you come real close and take a look at them, but from far away they are looking much like this side, which I did earlier. As you could tell at the start of the video, I did polish these first, just to make sure I knew what I was doing, before I showed you the step-by-step process on this side. And yeah, that is how you polish your headlights on a W210 E270CDI. Don't mind the duct tape holding the bumper together. That is on my to-do list. But yeah, just doing things I can afford for now, such as polishing out headlights.